Okay. All right, we're live. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the podcast. We are getting ready to rip roar into the roaring 20s. We want to talk a little bit about goals and planning and New Year's resolutions. I think, if we could take a second, 2019 was a rough year for a lot of people, and we more than doubled the size of our fleet in 2019. So we're kind of the anti story compared to what was happening in the industry with almost 1,000 carriers going out of business, and it was really dark for a lot of people. And we had a great year. We I mean, you can qualify it just about any way, but 2019 for Blue Ribbon was a successful year, and we learned a lot. We had a lot of experiences that taught us a lot of good lessons. But we're not crying in our soup right now. We're pretty fired up about going into 20. So, you got anything you want to say about 2019 before we get into 20?
Well, I mean, I do. 2019, it had its challenges by all means. We worked harder to, to keep our driver average pay as close as we could to 2018. Wasn't quite as good, but 2018 was a really, really unusual year. But
Yeah.
look, between around 900 trucking companies went out of business last year. 900. Okay. Um, we not only did we not go out of business, not we didn't even stay the same. We grew in 2019. But we have said this. Look, our business model allows us to function profitably in any market environment. We just proved it. We
Yep.
just proved it. Um, our drivers made what we said they were going to make. We were profitable. We grew the business. We added trucks. We're still adding trucks. You know, 2020, depending on who you talk to, the outlook is similar to 2019. There's starting to be a little more optimism in the second half of the year. About capacity and rates starting to equalize. But if it does, great. If it doesn't, you know, look, people. I just get tickled at these people that get on Facebook and complain. There's a guy on there. I called 24 loads and couldn't get one. Let me just tell you something. Last night at 11 o'clock.
Oh, this is so good.
It's Friday night now. Friday night at 11 o'clock, I get a phone call from one of our drivers. I'm pulling the sheets back to get in the bed. Okay, literally have the sheets in one hand and the phone rings, and it's one of our drivers. Well, I mean, I will never not take a phone call from our drivers. Period. And he goes, Larry. He goes, my load tonight just canceled. I just got a phone call from the agent. The load is canceled. I'm like, oh, shoot. So I laid the sheets down. I went back into my office, got on the computer, and I said, well, hey, hang tight. I mean, there's probably nothing we can do at 11 o'clock on Friday night. Okay, I doubt there's anything we can do, but hang tight. Okay, let me work on this. By 11:30, I had him a load booked. 11:30 on a Friday night now. Okay, had him a load booked. The load pays $3.96 a mile. Okay. $3,500 over a weekend. Loads booked. We had the rate con this morning at 9 o'clock. Okay. So the load, he can pick it up today or tomorrow. Okay. So this kind of gets me a little bit into what our topic's going to be today about, you got to do what you got to do. Are who gets on the phone at 11 o'clock at night to call agents to book a load? I did. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't have to call 24 of them to get a load.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Then once I found out where this load's going, I get on the load board, and an agent that we have a great relationship with has a load coming out of there, going right back to where we need to be. Guess what? They took my phone call over the weekend because we have an excellent relationship with them. They're on our Christmas card list.
Yeah.
Okay. book a load with them today. So now it's problem solved, okay? But it was Friday night at 11 o'clock when this all happened, okay? So I don't want to jump right into that yet, but I want to use that as an example of, look, people do what they want to do, all right? You make choices. Everything's a choice, Last episode, buying a truck is a choice, okay? Don't give me all this stuff about, but I need this, I want that, and I've got to have. No. It's a choice. This was a choice. I could have went to bed, said, look, it's the weekend. You're going to have to suck it up and sit there at the truck stop till Monday morning. We'll deal with this Monday. Okay? I've been there. I know what that feels like. I had a dispatcher try to do that to me one time in Kansas City, and I told him to kiss my ass, okay? And I fixed my own problem, and, so I wasn't about to do this to my driver, okay?
Right.
So I got my ass out of bed, and I went and fixed this problem for this driver last night at 11:30 at night. Okay, we're fixed. We're good. Our week is set. I had it done by 9 o'clock this morning. Okay, so now let me digress just a little bit because I want to talk a little bit about 2020.
Let me add
Sure.
one thing to that.
Yeah.
So the holidays are a challenge. As a truck operator, I hate the holidays.
Yeah.
It screws everything up. It's just a nightmare, right? Because
It gets in the way of doing business.
you got dedicated freight and they're off, and drivers want to keep working, and you got to find. So, dude, I swear to God, in a week and a half, I bet you we booked 30 loads.
Yep.
and most of them canceled. I had one load. I booked it. It canceled. They called me back. Hey, it's on. Okay, good. No, it's off. No, hey, no, it's on. I said, listen, if it ain't on, listen, if it goes off again, we're done. Okay, well, they called me back. Oh, well, sorry, it's gone.
Yeah.
But these people in these groups whine and complain every single day, and I'm like, guys, I wish y'all had a webcam on me to watch me over the period of about 2 weeks, and even loads. This one guy, one of our drivers. The same guy, I book a load, it'd cancel. I'd book another one, it would cancel. I'd book another one, it'd cancel. We finally thought, okay, we've got him lined up. He went to pick up one of the loads, got there. Oh, hey, canceled. Found him another load. I just don't experience what they say, keyword, what they say, because I think a lot of what they say is bullshit. But I don't have that experience, and I was booking 3 trucks, including myself, and
by the way, he booked himself a $10,000 week by that one.
Yes, I did, didn't I? Yeah, first week of the year, $10,000.
But rates are so bad right now, Chris. This business is horrible. You can't make any money driving a truck.
I know it. It's just awesome. But a lot of that goes to perspective. And not, wanting to blame somebody else for your own shortcomings, and I've talked. There's a lot of talk in the media right now about enemies,
Sure.
this enemy and that enemy. And growing up in church, I heard people talking about the enemy. Listen, y'all, I have an enemy, and I can see him every time I look in the mirror. The only person or principality that has ever caused me problem in my life is me. Okay. So I don't have to worry about enemies in the Middle East. I don't have to worry about enemies in the other realms. I got one sitting right here, and he is the biggest pain in my ass is sitting right here in front of you. Okay, so anyway,
no comment.
Yeah.
No, you're right. And on a broader scale there, that's the trouble with most people. They first of all they don't want to accept that the problem is them. These agents put these loads on the board that aren't any good, and there's everything, every reason, every excuse that you can come up with except maybe I'm the problem. But that's a challenge that we're always trying to overcome when we're trying to teach people how to go into business. Because at the end of the day, when you shave the boss, there is no, you can't deflect that to anybody else. You
Yeah.
either are going to make it or you're not going to make it. Okay.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's not about, I mean, yes, you're going to have challenges. Everybody had challenges. One time I talked about Colonel Sanders and you kind of corrected me a little bit, but I just happened to be at Colonel Sanders' restaurant earlier this week and I took a picture.
Was it finger looking good?
It was all right. Okay. I got the grilled chicken. So here's a sign in his restaurant. And it's got his mustache and his, it's not him, but you can tell
Yeah.
that it's him. Okay. His little string tie. At 65 years young, I created my secret recipe. But getting there wasn't all gravy. Locomotive fireman, tire salesman, gas station operator, insurance salesman, obstetrician, motel operator, farmhand, railroad worker, political candidate, mule tender, aspiring lawyer, ferryboat entrepreneur. So all the things that he did in his life that, quote, did not succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And at 65 or 65 years old, he finds Kentucky Fried Chicken. Now it's probably the most famous face in the world.
I can't get
Recognized
the
face in the
image.
world.
I can't get the image out of my mind of him delivering a baby wearing that white suit. I just
So, yeah, there's going to be things that are going to make it challenging. That's why everybody doesn't do it. That's why everybody is not Bill Gates. Okay. Now, does that mean you can't do it? No, it just means you have to decide I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it. So last night, you think I'd have rather gone to bed, than to get up and screw with that deal, But that wasn't an option for me. I could not see letting my driver sit in that truck. He'd already been there all day because this load didn't pick up till 1 o'clock in the morning last night.
mm-hmm.
He'd already been there all day getting ready for, sleeping or whatever. Can you imagine if I said, well, okay, we just sit in that truck until Monday morning, we'll get you a load. He'll have been there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 days. I'd have told me to kiss my ass, okay?
Yeah.
So it just wasn't going to happen. I wasn't going to do that,
Yep.
I made a decision that I was going to fix this problem, and I was going to fix it right then and right there. Now, did I believe I'd find a load within 30 minutes? No. But what if I hadn't tried? What if I didn't try?
Right.
So, we have gone over many, many times about our business model. We want you to, if you're going into business for the first time as an owner operator, buy an older truck, pay cash for it, don't go into debt, control your expenses, improve your fuel mileage, lower your maintenance costs, control your repairs. All of those are strategies that we've taught. Increase revenue, pick the right loads, try to set a minimum for every day. We've gone over all these strategies. Now let's say that you've done that, okay, and you understand that. So now you're making more money, okay. One of the things I want to concentrate on the first part of this year, and a lot of people might have this as a resolution, is that where is the money? I mean, is it in the bank? Or did you raise your standard of living, or did you spend more money because you made more money? Because the rest of this equation is we're lowering our cost, we're raising our revenue, and the purpose of that is to accumulate cash. Okay? Cash is king, as our buddy Dave Ramsey says, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're doing all these things and you're not accumulating cash, you're still not doing what you need to do to put yourself in a secure position. Have money in case 2019 happens again next year, and the rates aren't as good as they were in 2018. The unexpected expense, okay, whatever, your retirement. What do you're a self-employed independent businessman. What are you doing about your retirement? Believe me, you will turn 65 one day, okay? That retirement is easier to deal with if you're 30 than it is if you're 45, okay? So it's easy to not think about that, or it's easy to go, oh, I'll deal with that later. But you and I sat in a hotel room up in wherever it was, and we talked about these numbers, okay? We talked about your daughter saving, what, $25 a month?
Mm-hmm.
And at 65, the amount of money she had, or as opposed to you or I saving it at our age for what, well, especially me, but even you, you know, the difference between getting an early start and waiting until, later to do it.
Real quick little story. I was telling my wife, and my best friend and his wife were here, and we were talking about that very story. And my 13-year-old daughter's in the kitchen, right? And I said, yeah, man, if she saved $25 a month, it'd be this much money. And I saw out of the corner of my eye, she stopped dead in her tracks, and she walked in here. And I thought, it's funny that I can tell her to go do the dishes, and she can't hear me. But when I start talking about saving, having $600,000 in the bank, all of a sudden she's all ears. That was just hilarious,
Yeah. But so the point I'm trying to make is that, we're doing all this to accumulate cash. Make a decision to not be broke, okay? And the only way you can do that is you've got to accumulate cash. You've got to have money. And the way you make money, or the way you have money, is that you spend less than you make. That's the only way you can do it. There's no other way to do it unless you inherit it or steal it. And I can't help you with either one of those, but I can help you with this part of it. If you're making $100,000 a year, don't spend $100,000 a year, okay? Quit buying shit you don't need. Quit buying shit that is stupid. Quit buying shit that you're trying to impress people that you don't even like with, okay? That makes no sense, and you'll be broke, the rest of your life. Being broke has nothing to do with how much money you make, honestly. Being broke is what kind of decisions you've made in your life up to now. And now that you're making extra money, quit making those stupid decisions, okay?
Yeah.
That's the only way it's going to change. There are rich people, I could say, there are people with money that are broke, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because they still make stupid decisions. Okay, having more money doesn't make you less broke. I know that sounds stupid, but it does not. Quit making decisions is what makes you less broke. Quit making stupid decisions is what makes you less broke. Can we afford to go buy $50,000 truck? Absolutely. I can buy a $50,000 truck. It doesn't make any sense to do it. Okay, I've got the money to do it. I just don't have the stupidity to do it. Okay, I can afford that. I can't do it. I can't do it in front of you and be that influence on you, because I know that that's wrong. I know that that's not the way that you're going to accumulate cash, is by buying shit you don't need. And the biggest thing, the biggest turd that I see that you don't need is a truck that costs $50,000 when we can go buy one for $15,000 and make the same money. Okay? And we're talking about trucking here because that's what everybody on this podcast wants to be, is an owner-operator and a truck owner or a fleet owner or whatever. You're never going to be there, okay, if you can't spend less than you make. Never going to make it, okay? So what I want you to do, one of the things I want to concentrate on this year, and I've told everybody I'm in the process of writing a book. I'm getting a lot of it done in January because I'm making myself do it. But a lot of what I'm talking about in that book is how to become rich in the trucking business in the next 10 or 15 years. But it starts today. It's the decision today to spend money on shit you don't need it's going into the truck stop, okay, and paying $20 for a meal, as opposed to going to Walmart and spending $8 and cooking in the truck. Mm-hmm. That's a decision, okay? That's a decision. You have to talk to any Olympic athlete, talk to anybody who succeeded in what they've done. Here's what they're going to tell you. You can accomplish anything you want it all depends on how willing, what are you willing to give up to get there? Okay. That's the
Mm-hmm.
question. That's the question. You can choose whatever, you can be a professional athlete, you can be a professional musician, you can be a truck owner. Okay. All those things can be done, but there is a price that you're going to pay. Okay. And you have to decide whether that you're willing to make that price or to pay that price or not. Because if you're not, you're never going to accomplish this. Okay.
Yeah.
You'll be a truck driver that'll be in debt all of your life. Okay. And you'll be 67, you won't have any retirement. And you won't be able to go home for Christmas because you can't get out of the truck long enough to enjoy that. And if you were, you're miserable.
Yeah.
Okay? So,
Well, and one thing there, talking about buying stuff you don't need, part of my experience was that I spent money on stuff that I didn't need, and I didn't have money to buy the stuff I did need.
there you go.
I would say, well, I'd love to have an OPS on my truck, but I can't afford it. Well, that's not true. My truck was generating more than enough money for me to buy an OPS, for me to swap my tires over to super singles or put on the Pittsburgh Power additives or even buy some tools, just some basic tools that I needed. I legitimately needed, but I didn't buy because I didn't have the money because I wasted it on stupid stuff,
Right.
So, yeah, that's such a
Well,
huge.
and people will say, again, here come the excuses. Yeah, but I got to do this, or I've got to do that, or no, no, no. Everything you do is a decision. I can take anybody out there. Send me your credit card statements, and I will find you your stupidity. Okay, and it'll be really easy. Send me your bank statement. Send me your credit card statements, and I'll show you why you're broke. Okay, and I'll show you how you can quit being broke. Okay, you might not like it, and it might be uncomfortable, but I'm going to explain something to you. Success doesn't come from being comfortable. Okay, it's not easy to do this. You can't go to bed at 11 o'clock when the drivers are calling and their load canceled. I mean, that's a really simple, but it's a good example of what I'm talking about. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes to be successful, and most people are not. They say they will, but I can show you every day examples of what they're doing that are counter to what they just said. Okay? It's not hard. You follow them around for 1 hour and you find a dozen examples of how they're not being honest with themselves. Okay? How fast you driving? What's a cigarette cost that you just lit up?
Mm.
I can go on and on. People are broke because they want to be. My buddy Larry Wingett wrote a book on it. You're broke because you want to be. He's got another one that says people are stupid, and I can prove it. Those are exactly the reasons. I mean, he's very, very blunt about why you're not successful. And it's uncomfortable. It's like everything else we talk about with our business model. It's not complicated. It's just not easy to do,
Right.
because you have to make some hard decisions. You have to do things, in our situation with our model, you have to do things that are counter to about everybody else that is doing. Because then your best buddy just went and bought a new truck. Well, but I got to work for him. Why don't I work for me? Well, follow him around for a little while. Ask him how much. I had a guy call me not too long ago. He had a $1,300 a week truck payment. A week. Now, can he make it? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But my God, why would you want to deliver freight in a $1,300 a week vehicle that he could have taken 10 weeks of pay and went and paid cash for it and had zero truck payment? Zero truck payment.
Yeah.
Okay? Why would you do that? Explain that to me. Tell me why. I for the life of me, I can't cut it in half. $750. Why would you pay $750 a week? $39,000 in a year to drive a truck around the country that you could take that with and buy 3 of them.
Yeah.
And have 2 other people driving around the country and you making money with it. Why would you do that?
And paying
Explain
them
that to me.
$1,300 a week.
There you go. Explain that to me. That's a decision. That's a stupid decision. When it comes right down to it, Chris, it's all about stupid decisions. And if you make stupid decisions about your health and your family and your everything, you're going to make stupid decisions about your business.
Yeah.
Okay? So the root cause here, or the problem I'm talking about, is that people need to take a really hard look at the decisions they make every hour. That's why you're broke. It's not because you didn't make $100,000 last year. That's not why you're broke. You'd have been broke if you made $100,000 last year.
Yep.
Because you make too many stupid decisions every hour. Okay? Now, I'm not saying you have to deny yourself everything, but you have to be willing to deny yourself for a period of time. You know, Dave Ramsey has a quote, something like, "Live like no one else, so that eventually you can live like no one else," or something to that effect. You know what I'm saying? There's a period of time when you have to sacrifice, and when you do that, okay, and you've got, you know, your business, on the road, you're out of debt, you know, you've got money in the bank. Then do those things. You know, if you want to do stupid shit, do it when you can afford to do it. Don't do it when you can't afford to do it, because that's gonna keep you from ever being in a position to be able to afford to do those kinds of things. Look, I want a I'm 66 years old. I want a Corvette. Okay, I can go buy a Corvette right now if I wanted to. Okay, but I cannot bring myself to stroke that check. Okay, it's just not I can't make enough good reasons to have it to offset the writing of that check. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, I'm hoping that this guy that's wanting to buy my business out someday gives me one for Christmas. That's what I really want, okay? But you know, I have the discipline to deny myself things that I could afford. But I know that it's more important for me right now to have the financial security and have the reserve and have all the things I need to continue to grow my business, even though I'd rather have spent all the money we spent on maintenance this year with just a handful of people. I made you a comment. I could have bought a Corvette for that.
You could have bought
to me, it's more
6 Corvettes for that.
And to me, it's more important that we're able to do that than for me to drive around the Corvette right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in a much different size, I guess the example I'm trying to say is that I'm denying myself something I could go do, but I'm not going to do it because it's not the right thing for me to do from a business standpoint. You know, it's just not the right thing. So I'm not going to do it. Well, if that same logic has to be applied to even little decisions, because, you know, you're not going to go from having no money to being able to write a check for a Corvette. You're going to have to go from having no money to having $100 in the bank, and then next month having $500 in the bank, and then the month after that having $1,000 in the bank. I mean, it's a slow growth kind of thing. But if you don't get started, you can't get to 1,000 if you never put the 100 in. You know. So the human nature thing is that, well, I can't save that, so I'm not going to save any. Well, that's stupid. That's stupid. That's like saying I can't lose 100 pounds, so I'm not going to lose 5. Well, How do you think you got to the 100? It didn't just all come off at one day. You had to lose a pound today, and another pound tomorrow, and another pound next week. It's the same thing here. It's a simple process that's not easy to do.
Yeah.
Well,
I can tell you that I just looked. I made $98,922 last year.
Congratulations.
And obviously that's the most, money I've ever made. And we got to the end of the year and just didn't have any money. I mean, we paid everything. And we're deeply, deeply, deeply in debt from all the stupidity.
But you're working your way out of it.
Right. We're working our way out. And so
you have a plan. You have a plan.
Yeah, and it's working, But I just got to the end of the year and I thought, man, and I went and looked back. So I downloaded all the checking and I went back and here's a problem and here's a problem and here's a problem. And we had to come up with a way to fix those problems, because even with the level of debt that we have, we should have more money left over than we did. We shouldn't have to scramble at Christmas. I shouldn't have had to work. I should have been able to stay home for at least a week, for Christmas. And instead I was home 2 days, That's a choice we made. And, so it takes a long time, because you have to, what's the thing about a ship and a rudder, something about turning a big ship, and, anyway, it's hard to turn, especially when you're married and you got kids, and, you can't just turn on a dime. You have to turn slowly, and, so, I'm really personally excited for 2020. I think it's going to be, personally for me, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm going to have a great year. I know I am.
Started out pretty good.
Yeah.
First week was pretty good.
First week was awesome. First week was rocking.
Well, first of all, I applaud your transparency. I applaud your, the fact that you're open about what you've gone through and the things you've done. I mean, and obviously that's the reason why we have a lot of people who listen to us, is because they sympathize, but they also identify with you in your plight. And I think you're an inspiration to a lot of people, because they see that, that you have recognized your situation, you've admitted, and you've accepted the responsibility for it. You're not deflecting it to other people at all. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, we managed to encounter one another and hook up, and now you're in a situation where you've got the environment and the nurturing and the ability, the availability of potential that you can fix your problem in a relatively short period of time, and not only that, not only are you helping yourself, but you're bringing all these people with you because they're living vicariously. Is that the right word? Through your situation.
Yeah. Close enough.
Anyway, I think that's the right word. But man, it's storming where I am right now. I heard that.
It's
crazy right here, right now. So anyway, you're. I think you're really, really an inspiration to probably a lot of people, because there's a lot of people that are in the same situation that you're in. They don't know. They really don't know how they got there. They have no idea how they're going to get out. They want to get out. They don't understand. I talk trucking. I talk the business of trucking. You talk as being in the business and failing multiple times, and the personal journey that's been, and the damage that's caused to you financially, and even personally in some ways, yeah. And so, the fact that we can give people this hope, I mean, look, you not only can you fix your situation, if you will accept what you've done, and I don't want to turn this into a religious ceremony, but if you'll accept the fact that you have made mistakes, or are making a mistake currently, or aren't at your potential, we can tell you how to fix that. We can, we can show you how to take this business. And we said this before, this is a very unique situation because it's easy to get in this business. It's easy to excel at this business because honestly, there's a lot of capacity, but there's very little competition.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Boy, that's a great line right there.
There's lots of trucks.
That's profound.
But there's very little competition. If you want to get in this business and really make a difference and really make money, you can do it. And you can do it with little money,
Mm-hmm.
Just don't do it like everybody else does it because they're doing it wrong, They're doing it. That's why 900 businesses went out of business this year. Trucking companies went out of business. And there'll be a lot more in 2020. It's not over with yet. Tip of the iceberg, So I applaud you for your willingness to share your personal situation. I mean, very few people would do that. It's what attracted me to you to begin with, because I recognized how difficult that was and how real it was. And that's what endeared me to you to begin with. And then we realized that we were more alike than we were different. We just had different situations. We're different age and different experience and that sort of thing. But it's been a great partnership. I look forward to it continuing to be a great partnership. And, we would just like for us to be able to help as many of you guys out there as we can. Now, we can only have, we're going to try to double the size of our fleet this year. We'll be probably adding about 5 or 6 more trucks. But I know I said this, but I'm working on it as I'm writing this book. I'm also working on the curriculum. We're going to have a program where you're going to be able to hook your wagon to our leads here, and we're going to be able to help you even in your current situation at your current employer, by teaching you some of these things and helping you work your way into a better situation, even if it's not driving for Blue Ribbon. You can do this without working for us. We think that we, are doing it. But the problem is we're limited to how many people we can have work for us at one time. So there's a whole lot more of you than we have trucks, and we're just trying to find a way to make this, make you guys be able to do this. And believe me, we're working on it. So,
and I would love. My hope is that, there will be some people that have small fleets that encounter our message and our method that can start to transform their own fleet. Maybe they're just a carrier with their own authority, and they've got 5 or 6 or 7 trucks, and they could start creating opportunities for people to drive for them.
Right.
That will be awesome as we bring more people on board and we spread the message. And you don't have to look for the needle in the haystack of finding Blue Ribbon to work for. You can just find somebody like Blue Ribbon that'll pay you on percentage and give you what you need.
Exactly. So, we may have found one of those. That parking situation that I just worked out for one of our drivers.
Oh yeah.
He's a fleet of 25 trucks. He was highly interested in what we were doing and wanted to know about the podcast and wanted to know all. So we may have our first fleet consulting customer actually. So
that'd be all right.
We'll see how that works. So, but yeah, you're right. I mean, we can help. If you're not in control, there's not a lot you can do. But we can teach you. We can give you the knowledge. You're going to have to try to find the place that you can call home, where you can work in an environment where you can use these skills. And I know that's limited. If you're an owner operator, it's not. If you're an owner operator listening to this, hey, we can help you immediately. If you're a company driver, you got to find the right company. I understand that's hard, but maybe the more people that get this message, the easier that'll get. Maybe we can start getting some people contacting us saying, hey, we'd like to do your program. We'd like to have our people do that. So maybe that's something we can work on. We're working on some things maybe within the Landstar groups and with some other different people that might work out, but I don't know about outside Landstar how we're going to do that yet. But we got plenty to do. We got plenty to work on.
Tell your employers about the podcast. Let them know.
So, yeah, exactly. tell them to call us or send us an email. I do consulting, so we will be happy to try to help them to make it a better place for you to work. So
Yeah. All right. Was that is that about everything you wanted to cover on your 2020
I think so.
resolution?
So.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and shut this one down on that.
Okay.
If you have any questions, Chris at blueribbonlogistics.com, Larry at blueribbonlogistics.com. You find us on Facebook at Blue Ribbon Logistics. If you happen to be still following the An American Truck Driver page, come on over to Blue Ribbon Logistics and give us a like. I'm going to be shutting that American Truck Driver page down before long. I tried to merge the pages. I tried to do some things, and the fascists at Facebook are not going to let that happen. So I'm just going to have to roll that up. Yeah, so it's been a great episode, good information. Everybody be safe. We'll talk to you next time.
See you.